Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. I'm really trying to reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers, so if you can help me out in any way, I would really appreciate it. In our first story, a choosing beggar asks her friend for free math tutoring. She doesn't need to then show up, does she? Let's jump right in. Hi, first-time poster. This story is from 10 years ago, but it still cracks me up even now. I was a mathematical whiz kid when I was at school. I did the higher maths exams plus an additional maths exam for both of our official exam years. Maths was my thing, so I decided to become a maths teacher. While I was in my final year of school, I started tutoring. It was great, and I loved it. Enter the choosing beggar, Susan. Susan really struggled with maths. She had failed the foundation basic maths exam, so she asked me to tutor her. As she was my friend, I offered to do it for free because I felt icky taking her money. We agreed on Wednesday nights at mine. I prepped for it. It got to Wednesday and Susan doesn't show up. I text her and ask what's up, and she says she forgot. For the following Wednesday, I prep again. Wednesday comes around and it's another no-show. This went on for months. I had started to text her on the Tuesday night to remind her and make sure that she was still coming, but the result was always the same, a no-show. In the end, I gave up and just assigned the slot to a paying customer. So far, it was not so bad, just a bit rude, right? Well, let's fast forward. The night before the big exam, Susan turned up at my door. Now, this isn't the kind of test that you can simply wing your way through. This is an exam that covers everything. I mean, everything that you've learned since your very first day of school. She was standing at my door asking for help. I was pretty shocked, but still I gave her as much help as I could, considering that it was literally the night before her exam. She hadn't even sat her past papers. When the results came out, it turns out that she had failed even worse this time, which is perfectly understandable since she wasn't even taking maths anymore. So she had done absolutely no work on it since the last exam season. I sympathized with her, but I assumed that she'd realized just how badly she had messed up and that she would get herself a tutor even if it wasn't me. I was wrong. What she did was to badmouth me to everyone we knew. I hadn't helped her enough. Her problem was that I had the audacity to only offer her free tutoring lessons at my house. How could she be expected to travel the 10-minute walk or 2-minute drive to my house every week? I was so cruel. Plus, I was going to make her study in a quiet, peaceful home with just my parents and I, while her home was much better for studying, with 5 siblings, 2 mad dogs, and parents who always had raging arguments in front of a company. Clearly, I was the villain. 10 years later, she still blames me, and she still hasn't passed the exam. Don't worry, this hasn't soured me on math or on tutoring. Susan is very much an exception. No other student of mine has ever failed. In story number 2, a choosing beggar is poor and starving. You would think that she would be happy to be offered a cushy job, but not so much. Okay, some context first. The choosing beggar lady in my story is in her 50s and she cleans the building I work in once a week. I will call her Gerda. 30 years ago, when Gerda was on vacation from Germany to my country, Turkey, she met some dude, married him, and stayed here. Gerda and her husband had 1 daughter. Then she couldn't get along with the dude, and they got a divorce. Since Gerda doesn't have a work permit, she has been trying to make a living here in Turkey by doing under-the-table cleaning work. Gerda's daughter is married and has her own life. This lady has so little money that she lives in a small room in the basement given by a benefactor. She is literally starving. She is always trying to feed herself with whatever is the cheapest. Regularly, when Gerda comes into my work building to clean, some person in the office where I work will give her some extra money so she can eat properly, even for a couple of days. Last week, I found a solution to Gerda's problem. I got her a job, and I was so happy about it because Gerda's condition was so upsetting to me, and I really wanted to do something for her. Several times I have offered to buy Gerda a ticket to Germany in case she wanted to return to find herself a better situation, because she still had relatives there. She had mentioned to me that she has an older sister back in Germany. I told her that it would be better for her to go back to her own country than to live here like this. She told me that the weather in Germany was too humid, and the weather was not good for her because she had asthma. This was a little unattractive to me at the time, but I didn't say anything. Anyways, the job I found for Gerda was great. She would look after an older lady in the older lady's own home, and she could even live there. Nothing else. They would pay Gerda a good salary, and she wouldn't have any expenses. A separate person was already coming in to clean, she didn't live in. All they wanted was for someone to cook for the older lady and stay with her. When I offered this opportunity to Gerda, she literally sneered at me. When I asked her why, she said, "The things in an old woman's house are going to be old. I don't know if the bed she will have for me is going to be nice or not. Besides, older women are always cold, so they always want to be in an overly warm place. I cannot breathe in the heat. Besides, you said her house is on the 5th floor. Is there an elevator in the building? Will they make me carry the grocery shopping? Besides, I'm German. I don't understand much about Turkish food. The smell of frying bothers me, and very spicy food makes my stomach ache." I was shocked. Like, what the flip are you going on about? So I understand some types of work are bad. Even if you were starving, you wouldn't want to do it. But this? This job is the easiest one in the world. This older lady is not bedridden. She can do her own thing. The children of the older lady just don't want their mother to be alone in the house, just in case something happens to her. I don't get it. I tried to convince Gerda. I told her to just try it for at least a week. I'm sure she would get used to it and be happy, because I know the older lady and she is one of the best people in the world. In the end, she told me that she would think about it. I understand that it is her life and she can live however she likes. I thought that she was living in very bad conditions and wanted to help her, but I regretted going to all that trouble for her. You really can't help a choosing beggar. In story number 3, a choosing beggar does some creative moving of signs in order to get a higher discount. This is another story from my time working as a sales associate at a store going through liquidation during the summer of 2019. If you've ever worked or even been in a store during liquidation, you've definitely noticed the crazy sales that go on. In this store, we increase the percentages every week on Thursday. I usually got scheduled before opening along with a couple other coworkers to change all the sale signs that needed to be changed. During the week this story takes place, I changed the signs for small appliances, bedding, most of the women's clothes, and some kids. It was extremely hard to keep up with all the changes, but we did our best, and if one worker didn't know the sale, another would. So, 99% of the time, we could figure out the actual sale price instead of relying on customers. If I changed any of the signs, I was able to remember the sales for that section easily and never made a mistake with those. A lady comes to the register with an iron. This was part of small appliances, and during this week, they were 40% off. I made sure it rang up for that and went to continue the transaction. This is supposed to be 50% off. No, ma'am, all small appliances are 40%. Are you sure you got this from the correct shelf? Yes, there was a 50% off sign beside this, and all the other irons were beside it. You need to honor that price. I'm sorry, but I can't change the sale. I know these are 40% off. No, It says 50%. You have to sell it to me for that." She makes me walk over to where they are. I look and I see a 50% off sign just sitting on the shelf. I was the one who changed the signs in this section, so every sign was supposed to be taped up onto the shelves. Now what was 50% off was the bedding right beside the small appliances. I pick the sign up and say, "This doesn't belong here. It looks like it fell from over there." I point to the bedding, and someone just set it here. "I'm sorry, ma'am." I start walking back to the counter to put the sign aside while I work, until later when I can tape it back where it was supposed to be. The whole way she was snapping at me. "You have to sell me the iron for 50% off since someone put the sign there. You need to honor this." I can't. Every other sign in that section says 40%, and this sign was obviously just set there. You people need to get better at your job then, instead of putting the wrong signs everywhere. This is false advertisement. I'm going to go get your manager. After she left, I went to go take the sign back, and when I got a closer look, I realized the sign had actually been ripped off the bedding shelves and put beside the iron the lady was trying to buy. I put two and two together and realized this crazy lady had tried to trick me into selling her the iron for cheaper by switching the signs around. She never saw my manager that day, and I never saw her in the store again. So many people tried things like this while I was working, but none of them had ever actually switched the signs around. I actually found it to be pretty entertaining once I realized what this lady had done. This is John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then please hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.